Hello and welcome back to Around the Boxes Live! We are here to talk about some comic books and things. How is it going? My name is DA, if you have never heard of me. DA Comics, to be particular. And today is going to be a special episode. Normally on Around the Boxes, I'll show my pickups of new books that I've added to the collection, comic books specifically. Today I'm not going to be doing my pickups. I'm actually going to have that next week. So if you want to see my comic book pickups from the last few weeks, tune in next week. I've been kind of gone for a little while. Same reasons I've been gone all year. It's health issues. I'm not going to talk about it too much here. If you want to know more about that, I will be talking about that on stream. Link is in the description. I am streaming over on Twitch if you want to go and follow me there. We're super close to 100 followers, so go and tip the, what's the saying? Tip the scales to 100 followers. I was streaming this morning, playing some Elden Ring, so I will be streaming there tonight, probably, from when this is being streamed, and a lot of days going forward. I'm going to try to be streaming more over there, but if you want to know more about everything going on with me, that's the place to go. I'll be talking about all of that over there. It's just twitch.tv/DA_comics. Link is in the description, like I said. This was me streaming Elden Ring earlier. I want to just brag real quick. Where is it? This is probably my stupid death. Is this it? No. Where is it? Alright, well, evidently I messed up the clips here. Well, anyway, if you want to go and follow me, please do. I'm 6 followers away from hundreds. That would be awesome. But that will be gaming stuff over there. I was streaming over on the DA Games YouTube channel for a while. I was planning to. But I just don't really like YouTube streaming when it comes to gaming streams. I feel like gaming streams, I like Twitch a lot more. So I will be over there and you can go and follow me. And I will appreciate that very, very much. So I'll see you guys over there. Second thing I want to do before I jump into today's episode. Like I said, it's a special episode. Last week we got the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man Beyond, so in this episode of Around the Boxes I will be doing a tier list review of every issue of Beyond. We're going to be talking about the whole not time period, what's the word I'm looking for, the whole era of Beyond, giving my thoughts as a longtime Spider-Man reader, my thoughts on it, discussing each individual issue and which ones are my favorites, so stay tuned for that. But before we dive into that, I want to do one more shout out, this time not self-promo. My good friend Randy, he's actually going to be the best man at my wedding, just put out this song. And I wanted to shout it out so you guys can go and check it out. The link is in the description. Should be like the third link in there. But go and check it out, man. It's a bop. I'll give you guys a little preview here. I know he's not going to DMCA it. Oh, wrong spot. No, over here. So yeah, go and check that out. Obviously, it's a bop. Great spring hit. So go over there, subscribe, like, comment, do the thing you guys do. Tell them DA sent you. I will appreciate that if you guys do that. Because yeah, it's a really good song. I genuinely think it's a really good song, and I just wanted to shout it out, get some more people checking it out. It's not yet on Spotify and music platforms, but it should be soon. So for right now, it's just a music video on YouTube, and then later on you can go and listen to it on your favorite music platform. So shouting that out. But let's dive into the content of today's episode of Around the Boxes, which is this tier list, which I believe I can actually share. How do I... Oh, presentation mode. Oh, exactly what I wanted, but can I make it smaller? Yes. Oh, that doesn't really help. No. I'm going to have to move myself. Let's see. What if I move myself? What is this? Down here. That'll probably be better. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting creative here. But yeah, so I have this tier list that I've prepared for every issue of Amazing Spider-Man Beyond, and we're just gonna rank it, man. We're gonna see what the best ones are. I might have to flip through them to remind myself what happened in them, because for some of these it's been a couple months since I've read them. But we're just gonna go through and see what the best issues were. So I'm gonna grab my stack over here, and we're gonna start with the first part of Beyond, which was Amazing Spider-Man 75. Now I'm gonna open this up because it's been a while. But this was, let's see. It was a pretty big issue. It started with Peter Parker just kind of living his life, and then he sees Ben Reilly, and they fight. That's right. He talks to Dr. Connors, kind of establishing. Talks to Mary Jane, like to see her being supportive. Okay, I'm refreshing my memory here, and it ends with the explosion, and that was a pretty good. Okay, so this was a pretty good issue. I feel like it wasn't bad, if that makes sense. Some of these issues, I mean, we'll get to, are going to definitely be D tier. I feel like this is maybe, where is it on here? I would rank this one at a B, I think. It's just kind of middle of the pack, not too good, not too bad. You know, it could be better, but it's all right. 76, though, I'm going to open up just to make sure I remember correctly. 76, he was at the hospital. Yeah. Okay, so 76, I would say, 76 was when he went into his coma. Personally, you prefer the way Ben Reilly Spider-Man miniseries compared to the way Ben Reilly's been written in the Ben Reilly Spider-Man miniseries compared to Beyond? I haven't read the Ben Reilly miniseries, actually. I wasn't as interested in that. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. I haven't been a huge fan of him in Beyond. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Ben Reilly. That's why I was kind of skeptical of Beyond going into it. But we'll talk about my overall thoughts on it at the end. But as far as 76 is concerned, I think that's kind of right next to 75. It's kind of a two-part story. I mean, it is what it is. So I think that it would go on here with 75 as a B tier. I'm not prepared to say that it's the worst, but it's definitely not the best. The next issue, if I remember correctly, not as good. 77 was when it started introducing the other side Beyond characters. What are their names? Misty Knight and the other girl. I don't remember her name. But Ben just kind of training with them. Going to therapy with Dr. Kafka, and then MJ and Aunt May in the hospital. And then it ends with him seeing Morbius and fighting him. So this was the first one in the run where I started to feel like things were just a little too chaotic. Like, 1 second he's doing this, and all of a sudden Morbius is there, and it kind of just jumped into the next story. But it's definitely not the worst defender in the series, so I'm going to put 77 at C tier, because I think it's definitely lower than the first two, but not the worst. 78, I'm not going to open up because I do remember this is when he fought Morbius, and this one was also... I am gonna open it up. I want to be thorough. I don't want to misremember something. I remember this one being pretty weak. It had those side characters. Misty Knight I don't really care about. The one thing I do really like about this issue is it has Black Cat going to visit Peter in the hospital. And that was cool to see. I was happy to see Black Cat come into the story because she's been kind of absent in recent years, and I really like her as a side character. But the fight with Morbius was dumb. Really dumb. And adding in that was just not a fan. Shout out the Morbius movie. Haven't seen it, won't see it. So for this issue, I think 78... Where is it? 78, I'm going to throw in C tier as well. It would be D tier, but with the inclusion of Black Cat, I'm giving it a bump up to D. Matthew Hill says, dude, you feeling okay? I am feeling okay. Yes, I've been gone for a few weeks. Yes, it's still because of health issues. I'm not working right now. Bunch of stuff going on. But I don't want to talk about it too much here. If you want to know more, I will hop in one of my Twitch streams and I'll let you know. But yeah, it's same stuff. I'm seeing doctors and all of that. I'm not too worried about it. It's just kind of kept me from doing a lot of stuff, and I'm still breathing a little weird, so you guys might hear me breathe a little weird during this episode, but I'm feeling good, though. I'm not good, but, I'm feeling better, I think. 78.beyond. 78.beyond. Where is it on this thing? I don't see it. Did I forget it? Oh, there it is. 78.beyond D tier. Hate it. I hate when they do .beyond. I hate when they do, like, .1 or whatever. Just do main issues. I hate the little tie-ins, especially with these characters that I don't care about. D tier. Instant D tier. Amazing Number 79 was the first of a two-part story written by Cody Ziglar with Craven, 79 and 80. This was a lot better. I really actually liked this storyline. Again, it felt really random. It was like Morbius shows up, Craven shows up, but yeah, not my favorite stories, but better than the Morbius one. So I think 79 is gonna have to go on B tier. 80 was when he was drugged out. This might be A tier. I'm gonna check inside the book to remember what exactly was going on, but from what I remember, it was pretty cool. Yeah. This is gonna go A tier for me. I think 80 was a pretty good one. With the hallucinations at the beginning and seeing his girlfriend kind of trying to come to his aid. That's definitely going to be the first A tier for me. 80.beyond is a Beyond tie-in, which I hate, so that automatically qualifies it for D tier. But it was actually good, so I'm going to bump it up to C tier. This was the Dr. Octopus and Aunt May team up. I actually did enjoy that. I might even put it at B tier, to be honest, because it was a really fun story. It was cool to see those characters interact again. But, it's a tie-in. I don't like tie-ins. 81 was when he fought Miles Morales, which was bad. Not a great issue. It just kind of didn't really flow well in the story. He just kind of showed up and started fighting him. I'm putting that at C tier. It's not quite D tier, but I don't think it deserves much higher than that. Issue 82 was stylistically different, and I appreciated that. This was kind of the little one-off about Peter in the hospital, and it was kind of like a horror story. So I think 82 belongs on B tier because it was decent. It was a good story. And so I did enjoy that. Is Beyond a separate series or a main series storyline? It's a main series storyline. It's kind of a era of Amazing Spider-Man that just wrapped up. Kind of like a creative run. Because they had Nick Spencer's run from 1 to 74, and then he was leaving the book, and they wanted to bridge the gap between him and the next creator. So they did what was called Beyond, which was the 19-part story with multiple creators. It had multiple writers, multiple artists, like it was a rotating team, and it just wrapped up last week, and that's why we're going through and talking about it. But now we have a new creative run starting with Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. as the main artist coming up. But if you're gonna read Beyond, you can skip a few of them. But there are some high tier ones, including the next one we're talking about, which is 83. 83. 83, in my opinion, is immediately S tier. This is one of the best Amazing Spider-Man issues I have read in the last few years. Genuinely. I mean that. It's written and drawn by Patrick Gleason. One guy wrote and drew this book, and it is so good. It's about Peter recovering from his radiation sickness, trying to be Spider-Man, and struggling with it, and he's hallucinating, and just the art is beautiful. The story is really good. It really captures the essence of Spider-Man. So out of any of these issues, I would highly recommend Amazing Spider-Man 83, Legacy 884. It is S tier out of Beyond, in my opinion. And then it was immediately followed up by a Dr. Octopus storyline with 84, 85, and 86. Featuring Ben Reilly fighting Dr. Octopus. And this was okay. I'm going to open it to remind myself what's going on in here. But I was excited to see Dr. Octopus again, and that's ultimately why it is going to rank a little bit higher, probably. But it wasn't perfect. I think this first issue features Doc Ock breaking into Beyond, Spider-Man going to fight him, interrupting his date night. Ben Reilly Spider-Man going to fight him, I should say. And ultimately Doc Ock escaping and going to visit a separate, I think, Beyond building. So I would say this first issue would be A tier. It's good. It's not S tier, but it's good. The second issue, now that's a different story entirely. Let's see what's going on over here. Second issue was where Spider-Man goes to fight him and ends up kind of teaming up with him in the sense of Doc Ock kind of mentions, hey, you can't really trust Beyond, and he gives him a drive. And he goes to talk to the CEO of Beyond, and he's now distrusting Beyond. So this is another A tier story, in my opinion. I think this was a good two-parter. It was written by Cody Ziglar, and he's generally done a pretty good job on this Beyond books. He also wrote this one. But next issue is Zeb Wells, and he is very good. And he is the next writer for the next creative run. But this featured Ben Reilly just kind of doing his thing, going to therapy. His girlfriend feeling like she's under house arrest. And ultimately ends with Beyond wiping his memories, which is not good. That kind of sets up the climax of the story, where he kind of loses sight of himself, loses his sense of morality a little bit. I would say 86 is B tier. It didn't blow me away, but it's an important one in the series, and it's definitely good. 87 is Peter training with Black Cat and Captain America. This one was pretty forgettable. I would say it's B tier. It kind of felt like a one-off. But after that was 88, which is where they introduced the Goblin Queen. And this was a pretty good one. The first issue was where Goblin Queen attacks them, and Ben Reilly ends up being like, this isn't my problem, and leaving. And that's where you see that he's kind of lost his sense of responsibility. So I'm putting that at A tier. It's definitely a really good storyline. But we'll talk about the next issue in a second, because first we have 88 Beyond. D tier, immediately. No hesitation. Stop doing tie-ins. I hate it. Other than that, 89 and 90 are the last two parts of this little Queen Goblin storyline, and these were really good. Really good. 89 is immediately S tier. This is the one where Black Cat tries to take on Queen Goblin and straight up almost dies. I really thought they were going to kill Black Cat, and then Peter comes in at the last second and saves the day. So, Loved it. Awesome. It's written by Patrick Gleason, art by Mark Bagley. Really, really great. And then he wrote issue 90 as well, which I am also going to put at S tier because it's a really good fight between Peter Spider-Man and Queen Goblin. Really worth checking out, in my opinion, those issues. After that, though, was really weak ones. 91, What's Behind Door Z, was terrible. It was awful. I'm going to put it at C tier. I don't think it was bottom of the barrel, but it was not written well. It was written by Sarah Thompson. I'm not a huge fan of Sarah Thompson. She also wrote 92. Also not a huge fan of. These are very forgettable. Both C tier. They're fighting this lizard Morbius merge variant thing. Doesn't matter. They end up resolving it in 92. Beyond, another tie-in, which means another D tier. So lastly and finally, we have Amazing Spider-Man 93, the finale of Beyond. This is the issue where Ben Reilly kind of goes rogue and attacks Beyond headquarters, and Peter ends up fighting him. And spoilers alert, Ben sort of kind of dies, but then doesn't die. And he's now a villain with powers, and it's cool. So ultimately, this finale was really hyped up. They were like advertising it as, what did Peter do? Like, he did something bad. Kind of didn't seem like Peter's fault. He didn't really do anything bad. I don't think he'll have that much guilt about it, but I'm interested to see this new villain. I think his name is Wraith or something like that. Or Chaos, something, I don't know. I'm interested to see this new villain in the next run, hopefully, and see kind of where they go with it. It'll be very interesting. But I would say 93 closed out the Beyond era with a bang. I would put it at A tier. It's not quite on the tier with these issues, but I would say it's equal to the Queen Goblin appearance or the Dr. Octopus stories. I think this is a pretty fair ranking. And you'll see it kind of creates a little... like this, which is how it should be. Most of the issues are average. Some of the issues are really good. Some of the issues are really bad. It's pretty even, which means overall I'm going to say Beyond was good. If I had to give Beyond as a whole a rating, I would give it a B, because majority of the issues were Bs. In the sense of there were a few standouts. Right. There were a few issues in the Beyond era that really stood out as really good books. And you tend to kind of, or I tended to kind of notice a correlation between the creators and the issues that stood out. In the sense of the ones written by Patrick Gleason, S tier. All three of these were written, I believe. Let me make sure I'm getting my facts right. Yeah. All three of these issues were written by Patrick Gleason, and he was kind of the head of the Beyond board. I wish he was taking over the book instead of Zeb Wells. Zeb Wells is great, but these were all Patrick Gleason. This one as well was Patrick... No, that was Zeb Wells. So these were Zeb Wells. I believe the Doc Ock ones were Zeb Wells, which, you know... Oh, Cody Ziglar. Cody Ziglar wrote these three. These three, and Zeb Wells wrote this. Patrick Gleason wrote these. And then some of, Sarah Thompson wrote some of these. I think Zeb Wells wrote some of these. But so that's why ultimately Beyond, it was good. I give it a B. It wasn't great. If it was a lot better, then a lot more of these issues would be towards the top, in my opinion. Now... What's great about this, I want to see if I can figure out how to get a shareable link for this tier list. Because if I can, then I'll share it in the description. And you guys can make your own. Share template on Twitter. I'd rather just share. Here we go. I'll just copy this link. I'm going to put it in the description of the video. So you guys can make your own tier list. And I would love if you guys would make a tier list and tweet it at me. Twitter at DA Comics. I would love to see what you guys think about beyond. You know, maybe you guys have some books that you have in S tier that I don't. Maybe you have some in D tier that I don't. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion, both in the comments as well as on Twitter. Tweet me at DA Comics with a picture of your tier list. I would love to see what you guys do with it. But this is ultimately mine. It's perfectly balanced. And I think that fits Beyond well. I think Beyond, I give a B overall. So I enjoyed it. I'm glad it's over. I'm looking forward to the next run. And I'll probably do another episode like this at the end of the next creative run. I'll probably do it every creative run for at least Spider-Man. So when Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. are ending their run, I'll do a tier list for them. If we wanted to do a really big, long episode, I could do a tier list for Nick Spencer's run. That'd be 74 issues, plus some tie-ins. So if you guys would be interested in that, hit that like button, I guess. If this video gets a lot of likes, then I'll consider doing that as well for Nick Spencer's run and ranking a tier list there. That'll be a bit longer. So if you're interested in that, like and comment, and I'll be sure to do that. But yeah, that about does it for today. Like I said, I'll have my pickups next week on Around the Boxes for my new books that I've picked up in the last few weeks. The Webheads Comic Club podcast will be coming back soon as well. We just kind of, between my health issues and some stuff JP had going on, we just kind of put it on hold for a little while. But I want to come back, but I want to make sure that we can properly come back and stick to it when we do. That's why I'm kind of waiting. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, go and check out Twitch, DA_Comics. I will be streaming probably right after this, playing some Elden Ring over there. So if you want to come hang out in the chat, you can do that. And then also link in the description to go and check out the new song from Randy Good. It's really good, and I think you guys should go check it out. Go show your love. He's a very good friend of mine. I've known him since high school. Go hit the like button, go comment, go subscribe. It's a bop. It's a bop. So yeah, I'm gonna let him play us out. That's gonna do it for today. Appreciate you guys tuning in or watching as VOD, however you came to see this video. If you're not already, consider subscribing, man. I do these every week. Well, I try to do these every week when I'm in good health. Generally showing my new pickups, talking about comic books, reviewing them, just everything comic book related, comic book collecting related we talk about here. And we have other content you can go and check out on the channel. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. And I'm going to